they have their own applications. When they have their own applications, but they look for the better application always. So because of some drawbacks that they are facing in the current system. So the first approach is they need to migrate the data. When they need to migrate the data, the first picture is how to migrate. So there are different tools we use. One is a data loader. So data loader is like the Salesforce one, and the main drawback of data loader is it cannot directly connect to any other database system, because if it is more secure, generally the banking sector or the pharma sector, the data is more secure. They need to maintain the data more secure. At the time they won't share us, the customer won't share us the data. So when the customer don't share us the data, how can you migrate? So if the customer shares the data either in Excel or CSV, then we can migrate the data using our data loader. So for example, assume that this is one of the Salesforce organization, and I have any other database system. It can be the SQL Server, or it can be the Oracle, or any other system that you consider. Uh, this is an external database system. So it can be uh, the SQL Server or Oracle. So the system can be any system. So now, what is the approach? If it is a data loader, what is an approach we do? And if it is a third-party API, what is the way we do? So let me. Okay. So assume that this is the data loader tool. Just assume that this is my data loader tool. So you know how to download and how to install the data loader. So if it is a data loader, it can directly connect to, see, this data loader directly connected to SFDC, because both are SFDC related tools. It can directly connect using Salesforce credentials. We have user credentials, and using username, password, and security token, you can directly connect to any of the object you have in the SFDC. But this particular data loader, so we cannot connect directly to the SQL Server or Oracle, but it requires some other format. So it need some other format. The format must be in the CSV. So we need the files in the .csv format. Assume that these are all the files I have in CSV. So these are the CSV files. So when you have the data in CSV, then only our data loader works, because data loader runs based on the CSV. So what it does is, generally when you are migrating the data, let's say you have the customers table in SQL Server and you have the accounts table in SFDC. Accounts is our object, and I would like to migrate the customers from here to here. There is no direct connection between SFDC and SQL Server. So one easier way we can do is, if it is a one-time migration, you just export the data to CSV, because CSV, any database supports this export operation. So export the data, export the data to .csv format, and once you have the files in CSV, using this data loader, you can map the columns. You can map the CSV file to the SFDC file, I mean SFDC object field structure. So this is the way we do if it is a one-time migration, and this is a suggestible approach. And if the customer is not happy to purchase the third-party licenses, then this is the only one we can do. And this is a configurable. So every time this is a manual activity, user has to export the data and use open the data loader with our valid credentials and run the operations. It's a time taken process. But another alternative is we need to write the service that we did here. I mean, we need to write either SOAP services or REST services where you can consume the customer data from SQL Server to the SFD. I mean, you can migrate the data from SQL Server to SFDC. And this is also development is also time taken, and it requires more testing and deployment involvement. I mean, deployment procedures. And if even the customer is not happy to spend more time, then we suggest to customer purchase any third-party ETL tools to migrate the data. So they are the licensed tools. So we have few tools available in the market and we use most of the time. And the tools can be migrate the data from one system to another system in any direction. Not only this direction, you can also pass the data in another direction. The tools that we use called third-party ETL tools. So we can have the Jitterbit, and we have the cache tyrant tool and Informatica data loader or Informatica systems we have where we can migrate the data, because these are the more popular tools as of now people are using in the data migration activities. So this is a UI graphical UI tool where you have the complete field mapping, where you can run the scheduling jobs, or we can schedule the jobs, or we can directly connect it to two systems. Let's say my requirement is I would like to store this customer data from SQL Server to the SFDC. This is the direction I would like to store the data. So here the middleware is the ETL tool. So it's a Jitterbit. No need to write the code, or no need to write any additional operations. So Jitterbit can do it. So because a Jitterbit is capable, it's a third party. It has some APIs which is involved in the tool, and it can directly connect to any third party system where it can fetch the data, and it can connect to any Salesforce account, and it can push the data. So this is how it runs. At the same time, it can query the data from Salesforce object. It can query the data from Salesforce object, and also it can store the data in customer table. I mean in SFD in SQL Server table. So it can do any of the direction. So no need to export the data. So you can directly make the connection and run the transformations. So I have downloaded a Jitterbit tool. I just downloaded a Jitterbit tool, so where I will run this now. So this is the general process we use. Because if it is a one-time data migration activity, then always go for data loader. If it is a schedulable process, or if it is a real-time, or if it is a nearest real-time, then we go for the third-party ETL tools. Because if the project involves, if the customer involves more data loading operations, then better to go for a third-party ETL tool rather than writing the code. So that's up to the customer. If the customer is okay to spend the money to purchase the licenses, so then we suggest to customer follow this tool. So it requires a user. So while downloading the files, it will ask you this user. So I know what is my user. I use it to download the file. So this is a user and password. So it will ask you when you download the file. This is user and password. Then login. So this is how that Jitterbit looks like. So it has a Salesforce connector. It has a different operations to the Salesforce connectors. Not only the Salesforce, it has a different operation to the different database systems. See, you can query the Salesforce data, and also you can perform the upsert, insert, update, delete, bulk processes. So these are all the data loader operations. You can see this is more into the Jitterbit Cloud data loader. We have the different version. This is just the data loader, and not only our Salesforce, you can connect it to other data systems, other databases. You can connect it to the files. You can manage different things using this. So let's say my Salesforce organization. I would like to insert the data. So I would like to insert the data loading operations because I don't have in this particular mission. I don't have any SQL Server or Oracle to connect directly. So I will show you where you can connect in case if you have any other external database system, because each database system has its own connection parameters. I mean, it has a database string where you can connect it to your database system. So I don't have the database configuration in my mission. So I'm going to show you with any CSV files. So this is a one file. Let's say I have the customers. Let me prepare a few records. So customer 1, customer 2. Let's say I have total 50 customers. Customer 1 to the customer 50, and any phone number. Let's say make it the same field name, billing city. So use any test data. So this is a one file I have. This is in my local drive. So I have a file in my desktop. The folder is data loader operations. So this is a file where I have total 50 records. So I would like to insert the data to Salesforce organization using this Jitterbit tool. So all other tools works similar. This is a sample tool that I am showing you an example. Even if it is a cast iron, it has the same set of rules. If it is a Informatica data loader, it has one set of rules. So first thing is, so what is an operation you are doing here? So I'm just inserting the data. So you select the operation, insert. So first thing you need to connect to Salesforce. So what is the Salesforce org that you are connecting? I'm connecting this org with this password and with this security token. So in case if you enter wrong password, let's say I'm going to enter the wrong password, what happened? So you need to test before that. If it is a sandbox, you have to use test.salesforce.com. If it is a production, you use for production or, so you can just check this. So here is a test.salesforce.com is URL for connecting to sandboxes. And for developer edition or for the production apps, login.salesforce.com is the endpoint URL. So now test it. It runs in the backend. So it validates whether the parameters are valid or not. So invalid login. So because the password is invalid. So enter the valid password. Now test Salesforce login. See, connected successfully, which means I am able to connect to my Salesforce organization. Okay. Then next. So here it will show you list of available objects in your organization. The organization that you connect, it will show you all the objects, including standard and custom objects. You can filter if you want what are all the standard objects and what are all the custom objects, etc. And so in which object you would like to store the data? I would like to store the data in the customer object, that is account object. You can just filter here with the letter C, account. Next. So this is a source. I mean, this is a service all. I mean, this is a particular where we are inserting the data. Now, see different path. If it is a different database system, select your database and you can make your new connection. You can enter the what is the server name, database, what is a particular database credentials you can enter here. As of now, I don't have any database. That's why I'm going to a sample file. I'm going to show you this with the sample file. So mine is local file, and browse your file. So in data loader operations, my file is accounts.csv. Open, click on next. So it will show you the sample data you have in the file. Just for the confirmation, these are the customers data I have. It reads the data and will show you in a smaller, only it will show you 10 lines. Then continue. And here is a different option, CSV file with header. So what is the format of data that you are entering? What is the data you have in the CSV file? I have headers too. So then select this. If you don't have headers, you can select the second one. So what is the delimiter you are using? So these are all the different options you have. Even based on the type of data that you have in the file, you can choose these parameters. And the next. So if you want to schedule this job, here is an option. You can schedule daily, weekly or monthly. What is the frequency and what is the duration? So you can just enter all the information. I don't want to schedule anything. Then map and finish. Just map it. So this is a flat file. I mean, this is a CSV file. These are all the columns that I have included, and these are the object structure. I mean, all the fields in the account object. So there are two options. One is auto map. The advantage is when you choose the file headers, I mean the field names in the field labels in the file or similar to the SFDC fields, you can map out, we can use auto map. Or if file names are different from the object names, you have to map this, you have to do the manual map. So find for the different fields we have. So here is a name. So you can just click on the name and drag and drop here. So from the file name to from SFDC name, this is a one map, and here is a phone number. From here to here, another map. Or else you can just auto map. When you auto map, it will automatically identify the field names. If both names are equal, then it auto map the data. Then finish. Click on finish. So here is a just mapping. So you just review all the details here, then run test, run insert. So each operation we run in the CTL tool, we call it as orchestration. It takes some time to load the data. So success records are 50 and failures are 0. And go to your accounts. So go to the latest accounts you created this week. You can see all customer 1 to the data. So this is the data comes from this operation, right? So this is a one of the operation. So not only this insert operation, you can find the different operations. you have the different operations. You can start anything. So if you wanted to query how many accounts you have, just query. Again, test the connection. Make sure the connection is valid or not first. Connection is successful. And what is the object that you are querying? I would like to query accounts data. And what are all the fields you would like to query? I would like to query name and phone number and building city. I would like to query these three fields, you can see. And if you want to add some filter condition, you can add. So this is a similar setup you find in the data loader too. Next, what is a file? In data loader operation, extract.csv is a file name I would like to export. Next, create a file format. Yes. Then next, do you want to schedule it? You can schedule the process. So this will run only at the particular time and export the data. Finish. And you just run the query. So this is just a trial version I'm using. So but in case it has some limitation in terms of loading the data, but when you purchase the licensed edition, so you get a full-fledged one. Double click on it. The operation is completed successfully, and you just go to the file, extract file, and see the results. So these are the data I just exported from Jitterbit. See how many records? 1087 records I have. So like this is a sample operation that I'm showing. So this is how all other operation depends. So if you have any database system, so it will show you clearly what is the sources are the files, and what is the targets are the databases. So if you have the file, and it will show you what are all the DML operations you did. So you can track all the information from here. So these are all the data operations. Addition to that, you have more features. You can just use them. You can delete, update, query, or upsert. So these are all the data loader operations. So this is the data loader, and these are the Jitterbit data loader. Questions here?
Initially, always we have to give the Salesforce credentials initially to connect uh, to load the data into the external system,
Because these are
or
things
it
that,
can be a target
yeah,
target credentials
it
also
can it can
initially.
be it can be anything. So you can configure the target and source. So once the target and source is completed, then you can run. So these are the Salesforce offerings. That's why I'm connecting to the Salesforce. In case if you don't have the Salesforce, so just go to the sources. Let's say you have two systems, SQL Server and Oracle, and from Oracle you are going to load the data to the SQL Server. So where is the data? That is a source. Just right click and add the new source. So here is a Oracle configuration you do, because Oracle is the source. I would like to move the data to SQL Server. So once it is completed, once the connection is completed, you can test the connection and go to the targets, new target, and you enter the data and test the connection. So once it is completed, you just run the operation. So validate the test, then run the operation. You can run the operation from here.
Nara, can you take the screenshots for these steps in this tool?
Yeah, sure. I will take the screenshots later. So I will include in the class notes.
Nara, using this, you're saying that we can transfer data. Is there any option to get files from different system and move it to Salesforce?
Yeah. So it has an option. So if you observe, so when you are connecting, we have an option even. So if you go to the sources, so if you go to the sources, so here, so file share, so it will connect it to one server path and copy the file and place it in another path. It can do.
Okay.
You can share. So these are all the options it has.
For getting files from the external system, what people generally use? So in Jitterbit there is an option as you are showing us. Is there any other way people use?
All the ETL tools that supports, it depends on how the requirements are. To get the data, generally it's a manual activity they do, or they use any other system which suits for their business. Not only this, don't, this is just an example that I'm showing. So we have the many system. We have the Informatica data loader, so which is more capable than this. Our cached iron lost the popularity because of the Jitterbit. It has the same features of the cached iron too. So now people are using Jitterbit or Informatica data loader. Most of the data migration activities depends on how they use, how they follow the business requirements. I mean, some people do manual job and some people do some tools. Some people write some
But
code.
yeah, but using Salesforce directly, do we have an option to get the files by using native Salesforce code?
I mean, you have the attachments in Salesforce and you would like to export it to local drive. Is it the requirement?
No, I need to import files from external system.
So one approach is use a data loader, a normal data loader where you can insert the data. Because you need to export the data first. Let's say if you have the data in the local system, using data loader you can just insert the attachments from local folder to the SFDC. That is possible. Or even, so this is the trial version. That's where we don't see more features, but Jitterbit supports for the same. If it is a licensed version, maybe you can see more features. Just a data loader tool. This is not the actual version, so this is just a data loader version. If it is an actual version, you can see the data loader features and also the file for more file options. Even Jitterbit can do what are the data loader can do. All the operation can be done by the Jitterbit, even the scheduling jobs. Any questions anyone has?
Nara, is there any concept of data mining when it comes to ETL?
Data mining is a functional term. So through an ETL, it is just a database functional term. Data mining.
Okay.
That just a theoretical or functional term, not related to data loading.
Not even. Okay. Yeah.